Hey, what's going on, everybody? Ethos here, part of MMOBomb.com. Today, we have another first look at a brand new game that recently entered early access on Steam called Dead Cide Club. So, if you don't know what Dead Cide Club is, it's a fast-paced side-scrolling shooter that takes place in a post-apocalyptic world where basically players have to fight against hordes of zombies and other mutated type creatures. This game was developed by PressA and it's currently a free-to-play game in early access. You don't have to pay anything upfront, but there is a store currently available where you can purchase straight up cosmetics, you know, different skins for your weapons and characters. Nothing here out of the ordinary and nothing that seems too egregious at all. Just seems to be pretty much if you want to support the game while it's in early access, you can do so with this purchase and you will be able to keep these permanently when it does leave early access. The game does seem to have this really interesting type of art style. It uses a sort of retro style 2D graphics that seem to evoke that of like comics and classic arcade styled games. This is for most of the cutscenes. Gives this very noir type of feel, especially with the nice little interesting jazz music that it adds on to some of its cutscenes, which I found very appealing when first booting this game up and playing the initial introduction mission. Overall, it does lend to this interesting beginning part where you're like, wait, this is a zombie game, but it's like noir feeling. So it's kind of a little mix up that I wasn't really expecting. So when you move into the game and once you move past the tutorial, which gives you kind of just an introduction to the world and who your character is in a way, then you take on the role of one of four types of like organizations, and these are like sort of like as a mercenary. So these organizations have their own special abilities and weapons, and then you'll fight your way through various levels filled with enemies. The game controls here are pretty solid and what you'd expect for a side-scrolling shooter. That there aren't that many side-scrolling shooters that I've played in the past, so I can't really say if this is like the best feeling side-scrolling shooting game that I've ever played, but I do think that the controls do get the job done. In this game, you do have, you know, regular movement. You're able to move wherever you want, jump. You're able to dodge and shoot your way through various levels as you play them. Now, one of the interesting parts about this game is seems to be a focused PvP game. So that means that there is no sort of like story campaign or single player edition. You really have three main multiplayer game modes that you play, two of which are PvP based and one is PvE based. The PvP modes are domination and a sort of battle royale game mode, and then the third one is a cooperative horde mode. Within these multiplayer modes, you're able to team up with two other players and you're going to be able to fight through a couple of different levels. And of course, there is a little depth to the gameplay as you'll be able to purchase a different type of weapons from shotguns, pistols, SMGs, sniper rifles, and each of them perform and behave differently. You also have low power weapons that will appear on the map that you can take down in multiplayer game modes. And in co-op, when it comes to the zombie horde, as you can expect, like with any sort of horde game, you're able to unlock and upgrade your guns as you go from level to level. Now, unfortunately, if I'm going to be honest with you today, this game was kind of a hard egg to crack because on the surface, there really isn't anything wrong with it. Like, there's nothing mechanically really wrong with it, but I do worry a little bit about how repetitive the game is. Recently, they did announce that they did add a bunch of new mechanics, like perk systems and stuff to try to add more depth to the game, where I'm assuming originally it didn't have it. And while these things do help, they overall really don't bring anything new to the table, and this feels like it's treading similar water. As a matter of fact, I'd even argue some of the UI reminds me a little bit of other games that I've played. So, you know, when I play it, I kind of was just playing it and was like, okay, this seems solid, but I don't know, really, this could have just been me personally. Maybe it just didn't click that well with me, but maybe if you are someone who's into these type of games, it might click well for you. Also, the only con, and honestly the biggest con for this game, is the matchmaking. And it seems like they've been working on improving it. And I would say out of my entire experience playing this, I was only able to play at most 3 to 5 games in this game. Because to be fair, there are people playing this game. It's not like this game is dead. There are a couple of hundred people who do play this game. But from my experience, and I kid you not, I could not play one BR game. I was able to play a couple of domination, I was able to play a couple of the horde zombie mode, but for some reason we just could not find enough people to start up a battle royale game. And I went as far as to boot up a TV show, to boot up a hour-long TV show and watch it while also waiting for a match. And I went through the entire hour-long episode and I was not able to find a game, which at that point I was pretty much done. So I do think that a little bit of the matchmaking could be improved. I was in North America for the East server, so maybe it's better in a different server. I believe the developers are Korean based, so maybe that's why it's kind of a little bit more difficult on this side of the globe to find games, perhaps. I was trying to play this game multiple days from Thursday to even into the weekend, so I don't know what to say there. So I will warn you about that. But I never like to say this as a con because I feel like it deters people from even trying the game out, which then makes the problem even worse. So I would say try it for yourself, see if you like the game. And if you do, then hey, encourage other people to play it with you. Again, the game is not dead, not by a long shot. But I do think that maybe perhaps having more people playing the game or just an enhancement to the matchmaking will help, definitely. And maybe reducing the amount of required players to play BR, because I was able to connect to other players to join my team, but I just wasn't able to actually get into a game. I'm assuming because there weren't enough people in the queue. But overall, Dead Cide Club seems to be a solid free-to-play side-scrolling shooter that offers an enjoyable amount of gameplay mechanics and a decent amount of multiplayer features. Again, this is an early access game, so they are still going to be adding a lot of stuff. A big example of this is its character customization. I will say that it's retro-style graphics, and I would say it's cool little, I guess, take on combining noir and zombies is a nice little mix-up. And does add to pretty much a very unique experience that I wasn't really expecting. But I will say that I really feel like this game just really won't appeal to everybody, and it appeals to a very specific section of people. But again, since it is a free-to-play game, you really don't have that much to lose by not trying this game out. And that's pretty much my first impressions for Dead Cide Club. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out, everybody.